Now we're going to check our flange and rim. These rims are different than the front. They have a factory weld in them. We want to make sure there's no illegal welds, no dents or cracks in the flange, and we want to make sure that this factory weld is not cracked and leaking. Behind this beauty cap, there is an axle seal. We want to make sure it's not cracked, broken, or leaking. It's securely mounted to the vehicle, and it's not missing any nuts or bolts. If I wanted to check the oil level in this, I would check it in the differential housing. Now we're going to come around. We're going to take my make-believe flashlight. We're going to look up here and make sure that the jaws are fully secured around the shank of the kingpin, not the head. Then we're going to take a look at this torque arm under here. Securely mounted the vehicle, no missing nuts or bolts. The bushings are in place, and they're not missing any nuts or bolts, and they're not frayed, worn, or missing. Now we're going to go to the floorboards of the trailer. We're looking for broken, loose, or missing floorboards and no holes in the floorboards. Now we're going to talk about the cross members in the frame. The frame cannot be bent, twisted, cracked, no illegal welds, no missing nuts or bolts. The same with the cross members. They cannot be twisted, bent, cracked, and no missing nuts or bolts. We're going to check our mud flaps to make sure that they are securely mounted to the vehicle, no missing nuts or bolts. The mud flaps themselves cannot be worn or torn, and they must hang down past the center of the axle. We're also going to make sure there's enough clearance when the truck turns that the mud flap brackets will not interfere with the landing gear. Now we're going to talk about the landing gear. First, we're going to take note that they're fully raised, there's freedom of movement, and no debris. We're going to take note that the handle is secure in place. Now we're going to look at our support frame. We're going to make sure it's not dented, cracked, or broken. It's securely mounted to the vehicle, no missing nuts or bolts. As we walk down the side of the trailer, we're going to take note that our stickers are not peeling or frayed or faded. We're going to look for holes in the side of the trailer. Underneath here we have a radius arm. We're going to make sure the radius arm is not bent, cracked, or broken. Securely mounted the vehicle, no missing nuts or bolts. And the bushings are in place and they're not frayed, worn, or missing. We also have spring brakes back here. We want to make sure that the spring brake cans are not dented, cracked, or leaking. And the slack adjusters, the same as the front. If I pull on them, I will have no more than 1 inch of free play, and when they're applied, it will be at 90 degrees or less. This particular unit has a sliding tandem. We want to make sure that the tandem pins are fully engaged and locked, and the handle is in the locked and secure position. We want to strike these tires, make sure that they're full of air. We want to make note that there is an oil hub on the rear. We want to make sure it's not dented, cracked, or broken. No missing nuts or bolts. It is not leaking around the bolts of the seal. And we can pop this rubber grommet out to check level. We're also going to check the rim. Same way we did up there. Check the flange for dents or cracks. Check for illegal welds. We're going to check this factory weld for leaking or cracks. We also want to make note that the valve stem is in place, it's not damaged or leaking, and the cap is in place. We're going to look at our doors. First, we're looking for holes in the doors. We want to make sure that the doors are closed securely. We want to make sure that the hinges are not cracked, broken, or missing. There are no missing nuts or bolts.